Imagine you book your dream vacation to go to Bali. You're gonna fly over there, you have stops all over the place, you're gonna see all these amazing things on your vacation, and then imagine something happens. Maybe you get to the airport and your flights get canceled. Maybe you get to the first leg of your journey, maybe you're flying from New York to Dubai as part of your first leg of your journey, and you lose your luggage. Maybe you get all the way to Bali, you get off the plane and you realize you're not feeling great and you need some type of medical attention. Maybe you need an IV, maybe you need antibiotics, maybe you need to have a surgery. Maybe something went horribly wrong. This is where travel insurance may just save you. Today we're going to talk about if travel insurance is necessary. Do you really need it at all? Let's go get into it. Hey everyone, Johnny from Byte Travels. Thanks for coming to check out today's video. Today we're talking all about travel insurance. If you are looking for something specific, we also did a video on cruising with travel insurance, cruising specifically because weird things can happen while you're on a ship in the middle of the ocean. I'm going to tag that video right here. So let's talk about what travel insurance is specifically. First of all, there are a ton of companies that sell travel insurance. You may get travel insurance through your credit card. You may get travel insurance through AAA. You might get it through an insurance company like Allianz or Fay. There are a ton of them. The individual cruise lines, like I talked about, they have their own insurance. Sometimes your vacation provider has insurance. So we're going to talk about the different types, what the coverages are, what you should look for, and do you really need it? So first of all, let's talk about what travel insurance may cover. So first is going to be medical or emergency coverage. Something happens while you're away. Remember, if you are in the United States and you're doing some kind of fun vacation, maybe you're going to see the Hoover Dam, maybe you're going to Vegas for the weekend. If something happens there, you will be able to use your health insurance, of course. You are still in the US. If you are flying somewhere like Fiji, Bali, if you're going on a cruise, if you are going to Mexico or to the Dominican Republic, your health insurance is not going to be good there for you to use. And you're going to need some type of supplement. So this is where your medical coverage will be extended through this travel insurance. It also covers trip interruption or cancellations. So God forbid you make it one leg of your journey. Maybe you have a connecting flight somewhere and that flight gets canceled and you can't make it to your actual destination. Travel insurance is going to help you there. It's also going to help with lost luggage or luggage delayed or any kind of a travel delay. Maybe you get stuck on that first leg of the journey and you need a hotel room. You can file a claim for that because it costs you an additional funding. So those are all things that travel insurance may indeed help you with. Remember, when you're looking at insurance, there's going to be a lot of different factors. We'll get into those in a second. Let's talk about next who should get travel insurance. Anybody that's leaving the country. When I was younger, I never got travel insurance. I didn't even know travel insurance existed or was a thing. When you're in your 20s, you take all of those things for granted and you don't sometimes have a lot of common sense, which I didn't. Maybe you are young and you do. Congratulations, that is awesome. I did not. I learned much later in life. Once I did, I do not leave home without travel insurance. So in my opinion, anyone who is leaving the country should get travel insurance. Now, if you're going on a trip somewhere, you could still get travel insurance if you're traveling locally. It's still going to cover cancellations, any kind of delays, luggage, all that. That's still a great reason to have it. But if you are leaving the country, I think it is an absolute must for you to have. I know what you're thinking. I'm young, nothing's going to happen. I get it. However, you could go anywhere. You can go to Bermuda, get on one of those fun little mopeds and wipe out. And it turns out not a big deal. You just need a cast or you need to get some stitches and it could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's just not worth it. Imagine if you are traveling and you have elderly family members and something happens right before you leave and you're the primary caretaker for them. Travel insurance is going to help you get some of that money back to offset any loss you may have by canceling your trip. So let's talk about some common misconceptions that travel insurance is just too expensive. First of all, travel insurance generally is fairly reasonable, depending on who you go with. Sometimes it is a percentage of your trip. Sometimes it's like a 10% of your trip. So if you spend $5,000 on a trip, it might be $500 for travel insurance. That's sometimes. In my opinion, really good travel insurance companies have premiums based on a few factors, just like standard insurance. It might be based on your age, your demographic, where you live, all of those type of things. In my opinion, it's generally, usually pretty affordable. And remember, everything seems expensive until you absolutely need it. So a lot of times I'll hear, hey, I have some kind of insurance on my credit card for a flight or whatever. That's great. Again, bigger thing for me is medical. What happens if you are overseas somewhere and you need to have open heart surgery? Maybe you think to yourself, yeah, I could certainly do this in the Dominican Republic, and I'm sure they have great surgeons there or whatever, but maybe you feel like, hey, I really want to get this surgery done at home. You're going to be covered with travel insurance. If you get the right travel insurance, it's going to cover your repatriation to the US. Just imagine you go anywhere. In my other video, I mentioned I was on a cruise when I was in my 20s and I had to get an IV, and that cost me over $1,000. There are story after story after story after story of people that go on trips that have minor little issues. I'm not even talking about major things. I'm talking about something very minor, and it winds up costing them $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Imagine if you had a stroke or you needed heart surgery or something like that. It would be crazy expensive, and you are stuck paying that bill. So my advice to you is to do a ton of research. Generally speaking, the policies that we recommend have something like $50,000 of medical coverage, $500,000 of coverage to get you medevaced or to get repatriated back to the United States if you're having some type of an issue. And look, even if you live somewhere else, if you live in Canada or you live in England or somewhere, same thing, right? If you come to the US or you go to another country, you have the same issues with demographics, with your health insurance, with those type of things. So wherever you need to get back to, it's not just isolated to the US, but make sure those things are covered in there. Make sure there is some type of lost luggage fee in there. We usually have something around $1,000 in our standard policies that we talk about. We're not insurance brokers. We don't sell insurance. We are a travel agency. We're just here trying to give you great information. We do partner with a lot of different insurance companies to make sure that people have travel insurance. So I don't recommend one particular brand. We do have our favorites, but I always recommend comparing all of them apples to apples and see which one works best for you. Everyone has different needs. If you need information about travel insurance, you just need to get pushed in the right direction, please shoot me an email at jp@bytesizecruises.com. It's BYTE sizecruises.com, or comment below and shoot me an email of some sort, and I can give you some websites to look at where you can compare and contrast benefits. They don't benefit us at all, just giving you the best information. Please think about travel insurance before you leave. I think everyone should have it. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Once again, if you want to learn more about travel insurance for cruises, click right here. Thanks, and have a wonderful day. Bye.